To the big exclusive then, the Telecom Secretary hints that the mega spectrum auction could be delayed by a couple of days as telcos want the sale to coincide with the start of the auspicious period on October 1st. Final rules for the auction will be out by the 29th of this month. Shereen Bhan spoke to Telecom Secretary Deepak on the preparations, and here is an excerpt.
29th of September is the date when the auction would start. Bidders felt for two reasons. One is that they wanted a longer period of time between the mock auction, which is scheduled for 27 September, and the beginning of the actual auctions. And the second thing is some of them felt that the auspicious part of the Hindu year begins on 1st of October, and they've requested that if the bids could start after that.
So have you decided to give in to that demand, sir? Are we going to see you push back the spectrum auction to coincide with the auspicious date of 1st of October?
The last date for sending in requests for clarifications is the 19th of August, and we'll come out with the final NIA by the 29th. So there is still time to consider it, but my personal view is that if there's anything which gives comfort to the bidders and helps them or enables them to bid aggressively, we are willing to look at it.
Most people seem to believe that the response is likely to be moderate. In fact, I'll just read out one report, and this comes in from ICRA, which expects modest participations. They believe the auction is likely to fetch between 60 and 65,000 crore rupees, which is about 1/10 of the entire value of spectrum up for auction. As I said, that's just one report. There are others that seem to believe that the participation is likely to be muted on account of several reasons. One, of course, is the financial position of telecom operators, and the other is that there is no risk of license expiry, so that overhang is not there either at this point in time. How would you respond to that?
See, of the total amount of spectrum value, which is about 5.5 lakh crores, about 4 lakh crores is at reserve price, the 700 megahertz spectrum. Now, this is the best spectrum for data, for indoor use, for 4G, and therefore it's obviously highly priced. This is what I call beaten gold, and anyone who wants 700 megahertz will save a great deal, almost 70% on infrastructure costs, because they have to set up so many fewer towers to take services to the same number of people. So it is expensive, but it is beaten gold, and if you want the best, you have to pay for it. But keeping aside 700 megahertz for a moment,
I just want to address the 700 megahertz issue, sir, because of the 5.67 lakh crore rupees, 70% is expected to come in from that 700 megahertz, which you're calling beaten gold, sir. But you are also acknowledging the fact that at 11,485 crores per megahertz, it is expensive, and this is a concern that industry has voiced. But do you believe that they now come to terms with this pricing, and we will, in fact, see aggressive bidding here?
The Telecom Regulatory Authority of India has done a detailed consultation with all stakeholders, experts, academicians, telecom service providers, and it has recommended this as a price for spectrum. So looking at it as very good quality spectrum, this is the price that they have fixed. But keeping 700 megahertz spectrum aside for a moment, there is 150,000 crores worth of other spectrum which is also being auctioned. There was 125,000 crores, which was in the trial recommendations, in addition to the process of harmonization of spectrum in the 1800 and the 800 megahertz bands. We've been able to get 27,000 crores worth more of spectrum, which we are going to put to auction. So this itself is a huge amount of 150,000 crores at reserve price, which should find bidders as well.
Okay, on that.